All right, so here with me is my colleague Greg Oliver. Greg is going to expand upon the various goals, challenges, strategies, and project execution associated with this solar, wind, and battery energy storage project. So Greg, what were the goals for this one?
So the overarching goal of this project, which is a project competing in the Living Building Challenge, the world's most rigorous green building certification program, challenges architects and builders to design and construct recreative living space. What I mean by that is that the building gives back more to the ecosystem than it takes from it. So that is the overarching goal of this program, and that is to comply with that program's requirements. The second goal of this project is to provide a secure power supply in the event that the grid goes down. That secure power supply had a criteria to meet for the client. How many days of autonomy would he have, assuming that the grid is down and also assuming that there is no wind or no sun. Thus, the energy storage system was designed around that criteria. Also, an important goal of the Living Building Challenge is that there's a net zero plus. And what that means is the amount of energy that this building would use on a daily basis would have to be produced by the renewable assets on site on a daily basis. Not just net zero, but again, we're looking to give more back to the ecosystem than what we are taking from it.
Well, Greg, thanks for sharing those project goals with me. With those goals in mind, what were the various challenges when trying to achieve those?
There were a number of challenges with this project as the goal of the project tells us, and that is to comply with the Living Building Challenge. So every bit of material that went into this project, not just the renewable asset portion of it, but the whole build, had to be carefully vetted regarding, is it on a carcinogen list? There was a very stringent process of submitting documentation, trying to figure out what these materials are comprised of. And this process would receive approval. Once the approval was received for the various elements that went into it, all the way down from the wire to the blades of the wind turbine, then we actually had permission to procure and build the project. This material vetting process required a lot of due diligence on behalf of the Agathon Solar team to find the right materials that would comply. Sometimes that meant getting a turbine from Scotland. Sometimes that required us to go to Ireland for a VoltSys controller for the turbine. And sometimes that required us to ask for an exclusion for some of the elements of this project. There was an additional challenge as it dealt with the geography of this site. We had very limited space in which to work. Trees could not be removed in order to put turbines. There was a certain area for this phase one of this project that we had to put a certain amount of assets in. Thus, you see some couple of turbines that are relatively closely grouped. So we also consulted some NOAA local data to try to determine the best location for these turbines, which you see here. The last challenge was one of a timeline. There was a very strict timeline, not only working with other subcontractors on this project, but one of a financial sense so that the client could receive his incentives for this project. The project had to be operational at a certain level, and that timeline, that goal was achieved. All of these goals were achieved.
Well, Greg, with that many challenges and the stated project goals, what was the overall strategy to achieve those goals with said challenges?
So the overall strategy first required a long process of due diligence. So we basically asked ourselves, we created an energy model, and we asked ourselves, what am I going to be using in the sense of my appliances in the building? When am I going to be using it? Not just an average kilowatt hour throughout the year, but what am I going to use during the winter, during the summer, during the fall, during the spring, at 5 a.m. in the morning, at 6 p.m. at night. And we put together an energy model. And that energy model gave us an objective standard to design these renewable assets around. How much wind, how much solar PV, how much battery energy storage. Having defined this strategy, we now move to product selection and procurement. We had to select products that would fulfill the strategy that was devised. Those products in our industry, which is very volatile, can be difficult to obtain. Some might have long lead times, as in the case of Scotland, working through political issues with tariffs, with transportation of boat, plane, truck. The other element of the product selection is that products needed to meet a quality test, a Tier 1 product. Tier 1 meaning financial institution like Berkshire Hathaway, Bloomberg has looked at the product and has determined that the company is bankable. It's going to be around long enough to stand behind the warranty that's behind it. So having a Tier 1 product on paper is great. That's a bare minimum of what we need. Something that has been tested, it's passed all the UL testing, it has a good solid warranty behind it, has a bankable company behind that warranty, but then actually seeing the products in action or having deployed them ourselves. As a gold level installer of the Sol-Ark inverter, we know that that product performs well. Having a couple hundred kilowatt hours of the Renon battery energy storage system deployed, we also know that that product performs well. With the track record of the SD Wind Energy, we were able to really do a level of due diligence on it, see its projects across the globe and feel comfortable for offering this small wind product for this project. And then the solar mounts, the ground mount racking manufactured right here in Michigan is also a product that we've used for a long time extensively and very comfortable with the quality of this product. So Connor, that is the design strategy, both from a design and product procurement perspective.
So Greg, with the goals stated, the challenges defined, the strategy lined out, how in the world do you execute a project like this?
Well, first of all, I would say with the help of an incredible team at Agathon Solar. So Agathon Solar is a full turnkey installation company with electrical contracting license, builder's license, insured, bonded, with a master electrician and apprentices in-house, and with a renewable energy engineer in-house and our own installation crews. Having that team in place enabled us as a team to develop this strategy, to procure the material, and then to execute on the plan. The execution really just required a lot of project management, working with various stakeholders, and all of the other variables that happen in a construction project. You got the AHJ or the authority having jurisdiction with zoning, permitting, you have other subcontractors and a general contractor that you have to work with and around, and then you have the weather that you have to work around, obviously, or work through, and then also the challenge of product procurement and logistics and those timelines, especially during a tumultuous time politically with a lot of tariffs and back and forth between various countries. The execution of this project required two things throughout its entirety. One, a high level of transparent communication with the owner, the architect, and the general contractor as it relates to supply chain issues, timelines, labor, and weather. And secondly, through dedicated project management for this site, where there is a dedicated project manager constantly overseeing the work that's being done.
Well, Greg, thank you for the insight as to how this project can come to fruition like it has. Thank you for watching this video and hearing us explain what it takes to bring a solar, wind, and battery energy storage system like this together. Greg, any final remarks for our audience here today?
Yes, I'd just like to share a little bit about Agathon Solar. So Agathon Solar serves Michigan and the Midwest in the residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural markets for solar PV, battery energy storage systems, and wind turbines with generator integration. We also have another location in the Caribbean, where we also service the Caribbean in those same markets. We would love to work with you on your project, however small or however big it is. Feel free to reach out to us. Thank you. This is Greg Oliver with Agathon Solar.